Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the CoffeeCast Open Tournament, where we are in the middle of a best-of-3 series between Roflstomped, who is spawning random as the random Protoss orange player, that was a mouthful, in the top left corner of Tal'Darim Altar, and in the meantime we have Lightkite spawning in the lower right-hand corner as our red Protoss player. So we will be seeing a PvP here on Tal'Darim Altar. Very, very common strategy is the 4-gate on this map, but it looks like Lightkite dancing around might be looking to do some sort of crazy expansion. Nope, now pulling back into his main to lay down a pylon. Lightkite is up currently 1-0 in this series, so if he wins this game, he does advance on in the losers bracket. Roflstomped will be eliminated from the tournament. So once again, losers, we are in the losers bracket right now. Loser will be eliminated. Best of 3 series, Kite up 1-0. Let's go ahead and get started with this game. The reason this map is so popular for 4 gates is because this very wide entrance needs to be blocked by 2 or 3 force fields and not just one, like a lot of maps with ramps. So the 4 gate is still rampant on this map. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, 4 gate can be a very, very micro intensive build, and it does actually take some amount of skill sometimes on a cloudy day. I'm just very anti-4-gate, I will be completely honest. Lightkite has yet to start his gateway, might want to get on that soon. Instead, throwing down a second pylon instead of his gateway on 13. Kind of an interesting choice. I mean, I don't know if he's looking to do an expansion, in which case the 17 Nexus does require that you lay down a second pylon before your gateway, and it's pretty much the earliest you can possibly do an expansion. But no, it looks like he's coming up here to put a gateway down. A forge down. Is he forge fast expanding versus another Protoss player? That is not a strategy you do in PvP generally. It'll be interesting to see if he can make that work. This probe even precariously placed over here on this side. It's kind of an interesting placement. I don't exactly know what Kite is intending to do. A lot of probes being pulled up here to just build buildings. In the meantime, Roflstomped is taking a serious tech advantage already because his cybernetic core is already done. Just waiting a little bit longer to get enough gas to start that warp gate research. And there it goes. So warp gate is going to be significantly earlier for Roflstomped, and I am still trying to figure out exactly what Lightkite is doing in this game. There we go, dropping the Nexus down. Generally, if you're going to do a really, really early expand as Protoss, forego the forge. If you're thinking cannons, you're going to want to either do a gateway first or a Nexus first. The Nexus will be dropped on 17, or the gateway at 13, and then just a very quick expand afterward. However, if Roflstomped doesn't scout this, I mean, Lightkite's just going to be able to exploit the fact that he got a quick expansion up. Yes, one point was made. He did play a Zerg in the last game, where Roflstomped is playing random, so he might believe that Roflstomped is Zerg once again. I do not know if he is scouted. He's already scouted that Roflstomped is a Protoss player, though, so we're seeing a forward fast expand versus Protoss. Who knows, maybe this will be the next big thing at the next major tournament. However, it is starting to pay off right now, as it looks like this Nexus is going to go ahead and complete and it doesn't look like we're going to have any sort of 4-gate aggression coming out of Roflstomped, banking up a lot of minerals here, but only 3 gates down on the field. Warp gate is just now finishing up. A 3rd gate is dropped with double gas, so really Roflstomped's book is wide open. I don't know what he plays as his main. I mean, even random players do have a main race, but he can do pretty much whatever he wants at this point in time. He could go for Robotech, Twilight Tech. He could even try to do a little bit of an expansion of his own. Lightkite really actually also has his playbook open right now, and I mean, he could use to get one more gas down here, and then his playbook would be completely open. We do see a robotic facility coming down for our Protoss player up here in the top left, a Roflstomped, probably to start getting Immortals out. Chrono Boost going down on probes. I really like that decision from Lightkite, because if you're going to go for a risky build like this, why not go all out? However, he does not have Warp Gate tech up yet. Really needs to start that as soon as he possibly can. Is getting that +1 ground weapons on the way now. But what I would actually like to see out of Lightkite at this point is some sort of Dark Templar play, because, I mean, once again, you're going risky, you're going cheesy kind of with that cheesy, greedy build. Might as well go all the way with cheese, and actually, if that Dark Templar play then fails, you morph them into Archons and go Zealot Archon instead. Unfortunately, for the Dark Templar idea, we do have a robotics facility out right now. However, Lightkite does not know that. A Forge is on the way, and oddly enough, Hallucination is on the way for Roflstomped as well. Some very, very interesting choices from these two players in this matchup. So, but neither player really wants to be aggressive. Lightkite obviously not wanting to be aggressive because he doesn't even have Warp Gate tech yet. Roflstomped not being aggressive because he hasn't scouted that there was this crazy fast expansion out of Lightkite. As you see, he has not even found Lightkite. He scouted the left and the right side and then did nothing with this bottom right, and just knowing that his opponent was there was enough for him. That is going to prove to be a grave mistake, as Lightkite has taken a severe economic lead, 45 to 27 harvesters. And really, once he gets his Warp Gate tech finished, he's going to be in an absolutely excellent position. Does have 4 gateways up right now, waiting for his robotics facility to finish as well. And I do like this because, once again, Roflstomped with a robotics facility of his own, now deciding to expand behind this. And this late of an expansion, the reason I have a problem with this late of an expansion is because Lightkite's expansion has been up for so long. At this point, I think Roflstomped would be better either all-inning or at least just trying to jump up and do a big attack and hurting the economy of Lightkite. However, deciding to go for an economy play of his own, does have an observer out on the field. However, that is not observing anything but the army to make sure that there are no Dark Templar. Now flying out across the map to see what is going on at Lightkite's base. Both players staying up fairly well on their macro, though. Lightkite does have actually quite a bit banked. I take that back about him. But he does have a lot of harvesters on the field. Just not quite sure exactly what to do with all of his money. Robotics Bay is on the way. I love this play out of Lightkite because there is no Robotics Bay on the field yet for Roflstomped. And if you can get a Colossus lead in a Protoss versus Protoss, that will a lot of the time lead to your victory. And so we do see Extended Thermal Lance on the way for Lightkite, as well as 2 Colossus queued up. Generally don't want to queue these Colossus up because they do cost quite a bit of minerals. Those are minerals that can be spent elsewhere at this exact point in time. But that is not too big of a deal, as once again Lightkite does have quite a severe economy lead, having quite a bit more minerals and gas income. And I believe, yes, that is officially more than double the harvesters now, at 57 to 28. And the reason I keep pulling up that tab is because it is so important in this game, especially in any mirror matchup. An economy lead is generally what will make or break the game. A Lightkite is a little bit supply block, laying down 2 pylons now. His Colossus will be slightly delayed, I believe, but that's not going to be too big of a deal. It just means to make sure to be chrono boosting out his upgrade here, and I would really like to see him continue to chrono boost out upgrades from his Forge, as he does have that that 1 ground weapons, which is only equal to his opponent right now, who is now getting the 1 ground armor as well. Roflstomped is going for Blink, which will be nice to be able to blink up into the Colossus and try to take those out very, very quickly. Lightkite, though, once again, happy to stay back and play a passive game, as he has been on 2 base much longer than his opponent, and just happy warping in a lot of Stalkers, a lot of Zealots, and continuing to pump out Colossus. And if Roflstomped does not get some Colossus of his own soon, or some sort of tier 3 tech, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And there it looks like we are getting the Twilight Council, which will allow him to get ground weapons level 2, and either blink or charge or Templar play. Once again, Lightkite can do anything in the book right now. Second Colossus finishing up, and this is really a great point for Lightkite to move out if he so desires. 2 to 3 Colossus is kind of the money number, especially if your opponent has no Colossus of his own. And contrary to what a lot of lower level players do think, Colossus versus Immortal, Colossus will win that battle with an army to back them up. Roflstomped sitting in a very bad position, 131 to 93 supply. He is not going to be able to win if an attack does come. And indeed, here it is moving out a lot of Stalkers on the field. Just looking at the unit counting station, we do have 16 Stalkers to 10 Stalkers in Lightkite's favor. An equal number of Zealots. The big difference here, once again, the Stalker count and 2 Colossus for Lightkite, and only 2 Immortals for Roflstomped. Colossus production and Immortal production continuing for both players. Lightkite now securing a 3rd expansion. a 40 supply lead for Kite, and that's going to just keep expanding as Kite has a very large supply gap at the top of his supply. Roflstomped just now starting a second pylon. This is going to fill out very, very quickly with warp gates, and if Lightkite does decide to attack anytime soon, he's going to be able to do massive amounts of damage even with these two immortals in the army, I believe. However, it looks like there are going to be 4 Stalkers here poking up, just seeing what's going on. Lightkite deciding, yes, he is indeed going to go start pushing up into Roflstomped's base. Does indeed continue to have Colossus pumping out, does have that kind of rally to a bad point. We are going to be seeing the engagement here. The army for Roflstomped is kind of out of position. A couple of hallucinated Colossi on the field for Roflstomped, and Lightkite left the game. Pulling a bit of an Idra in that battle. Wow, Lightkite, I actually feel had a large advantage in that game and just kind of left the game as soon as he saw that army with those hallucinated Colossus. The army values were relatively even. Lightkite was just a little bit ahead. I want you to look real quickly here at the resource collection rate skyrocketing for Lightkite early on in that game. I'm going to go ahead and get game 3 set up here. I'm a little bit baffled by that. Listen to some tunes while we try to figure out what the hell just